All right, next we're going to take an honest look at your life and start to explore in the pages of your journal or in conversation with someone if you choose, what kind of went wrong? Like, do you notice a point before you started feeling crispy that maybe it was just additional pressures from the outside, which certainly could be the case, which you've already explored, like what are the things in the last 6 to 8 months? Just lingering in this reflective space a little longer, want to challenge you to think, were there patterns, say, in my life in the past that were fueling my well-being, my levels of energy, my creativity or resourcefulness, whatever it was, my resilience? And which of those things, maybe compounded by the pressures of the recent months, were maybe intentionally or unintentionally abandoned for a season, but were things that in the past were quite life-giving for you? So I hope that makes sense. Let me give a couple examples and maybe that'll help. For me, writing in a journal is a really important way to stay sort of in tune with God, with my authentic self, with what am I really thinking about things. So a journal has been a really important part of my life. And then of course there's certain seasons where the time available for that kind of a thing might just sort of shrink. And without some creativity and renegotiating of other things, it will just sort of get left to the wayside. I just talked to a leader yesterday who said that prior to a bunch of the turbulence of her prior year, this had been a big part of her life. But with some medical issues in her extended family and other things, it just became hard to approach the pages of a journal, but she's ready to re-engage and is intentionally doing that right now to make sure she can exit burnout. So that's an example of a pattern that in the past might have been life-giving, that with a little reflection, you might notice some of those things in your own life. Another thing that often gets thrown to the wayside, and I've been guilty of this too much lately, just the physical activity, that certain rhythms of life. I lived close to a health club. I had friends that were part of it. Like, it just became part of my life, that then all of a sudden you move a few times and then you move a few more times and all those things. I sound like I'm making excuses, right? But this is the kind of thing where it's important to stop and reflect and go, all right, in seasons when I did have a lot of energy and a lot more to bring to the various responsibilities, because those are always going to change. But what were some of the factors that were energy builders? What were contributing funds into this bank account of my energy? So it might be something physical like that. It might be a meditation practice that you have or that you used to have. It could be certain relationships, a mentor relationship or a volunteer service that you were doing that was a key to sort of remembering the blessings in your life and getting up close to serving into some real needs in your community. Any of these things might be it. The assignment for this session is to make sure that you spend some time reflecting on what sort of patterns might have been abandoned, intentionally or unintentionally, that might be considered for reintegrating into your life moving forward. So how did this get lost? What were those things? And here's the bonus round. If you really can do this, maybe push yourself to think, how did I let that go? Was it really that my time didn't allow it? Was there a pressure from some source that I caved into? Was there a lack of regard for my own value and the need to take care of myself in the middle of these things? So that would be a really additional important thing to consider as you're reflecting on this. Well, how did I get here? What went wrong? Besides the circumstances that probably surround you, what things might you have let go of? And maybe why? So that's your assignment right now.